Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bospis.
Here.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Lynn.
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Here.
Okay, we're all here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. I'd ask those with cell phones if they would please silence them. We would appreciate it. Before we start tonight's meeting, I would like to have a moment of silence. Our thoughts and prayers for those that have lost their lives, for those who were injured, and for those whose life will be changed forever due to the terrible act of violence that occurred in Las Vegas last night. Thank you very much. Item number 1 is the proclamation declaring October as Domestic Awareness Month. And with us tonight we have Betsy, the Executive Director of the Diane Pepler Resource Center. If you'd like to join me at the podium. It's the City of Sault Ste. Marie proclamation declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all ages, races, gender, and income levels. And whereas domestic violence is widespread and affects over 4 million Americans each year. And whereas 1 in 3 Americans have witnessed an incident of domestic violence. And whereas children that grow up in violent homes are believed to be abused and neglected at a rate higher than the national average. And whereas domestic violence costs the nation billions of dollars annually in medical expenses, police and court costs, shelters, foster care, sick leave, absenteeism, and non-productivity. And whereas only a coordinated community effort will put a stop to this heinous crime. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for citizens to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, services, and assistance to victims. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Anthony G. Bospis, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie to work together to eliminate domestic violence from our community. In witness thereof, and I hereunto set my hand to cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to be affixed the 2nd day of October, 2017. Anthony G. Bospis, Mayor. Betsy?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Sure. If you'd like to say a few words, we'd appreciate it.
I would, and I promise I will make it quick. It's only half a page, so.
Take your time.
Thank you again. It's good to see everyone again. I find myself kind of a regular here, and I appreciate that. Good evening, Mayor Bospis, City Manager Turner, City Commission members, and guests that are here in the room with us today. As the Mayor said, I am Betsy Huggett. I am the Executive Director of the Diane Pepler Resource Center, and I just had my 3rd year anniversary as the Director. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so in keeping with the annual tradition, we are again asking the City Commission to recognize our desire to help put an end to domestic violence here in our community. We ask that you proclaim, by word and by deed, to reach out to our fellow citizens who may be in need of protection in their own home. We ask that each and every one of you take up the banner to stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. I would like to give my heartfelt gratitude to this body for the commitment that they make to us every year, to the officers at the Sault Ste. Marie Police Department who continue to be our front line of defense and work tirelessly alongside us to create safer routes for those who need to leave. We appreciate the staff at War Memorial Hospital for caring for the wounded in body while we care for the wounded in spirit. And we appreciate the members of the Prosecuting Attorney's Office for seeking justice for those who have had no justice in their homes. Every woman, man, and child who experiences domestic violence needs to know that they have a safe place. For 38 years, the Diane Pepler Resource Center has been that place, and we appreciate your support for the next 38 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 2, public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, item number 3, Deputy City Manager.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of September 18th, 2017, and the special City Commission meeting of September 25th, 2017. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of September 18th and the special City Commission meeting of September 25th, 2017. Item 2, acceptance of the minutes of the following boards and commissions. A, Airport Advisory Board of August 10th. B, Economic Development Corporation of August 8th, and C, Planning Commission of August 24th. Recommended action is to accept the minutes of the various boards and commissions. Item B, Special Orders of Business. 1, approval of amended Special Assessment Rules SW-04-15 and C-02-15. Recommended action is to approve the amended Special Assessment Rules for C-02-15 and for SW-04-15 as presented. Item 2 under Special Orders of Business is scheduling a public hearing for SL-2N-17 and SL-2W-17 to confirm single lot special assessments. Recommended action is to set a public hearing date on the confirmation of SL-2N-17 and SL-2W-17 for the October 16, 2017 regular City Commission meeting. Item C, City Manager's Report. 1, Traffic Control Order 17-03, exempting city-owned vehicles and equipment. Recommended action is to approve Traffic Control Order 17-02, exempting city-owned and/or operated vehicles and equipment from traffic control orders prohibiting truck traffic or restricting weight on all streets under the jurisdiction of the City of Sault Ste. Marie. Item 2 under City Manager's Report is authorization or authorize execution of an easement to American Transmission Company, ATC, on city-owned property. Recommended action is to authorize the execution of an easement to American Transmission Company on city-owned property at 4001 I-75 Business Spur, parcel number 051-063-022-00, upon approval of the documents by the city engineer and the city attorney.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a commissioner that would like something further explained on the consent agenda? Commissioner Collins.
Yeah, actually I have 2 questions.
Sure.
The first one is on Special Order Business B1. So on there, the basically the special assessment or penalty for not paying the assessment, that's what I'm understanding that is. So you've got a penalty fee of $20, and then if they didn't pay that as of today, then the $20 would have been assessed. And then it says that it's going to be put on the taxes, right? And there's a $50 charge to put it on the taxes. So the first question there is, what's the date for them to pay it before it actually rolls to the tax assessment?
City Manager.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. My understanding is that the public hearing will be held at the next meeting, and after the confirmation of the roll is when the $50 will be applied to the bill.
So then, if someone actually paid it, the reason I say this is I noticed a few names on there that obviously if they probably knew that they had a bill, they would pay it, right? But anyway, so if they pay it before the next meeting, they've got the $20 late fee, right? But it's not actually gonna, the roll to the assessment tax is the $50, right?
Correct, and that's my understanding. It's practice of city administration to distribute a number of notices when these issues arise to responsible parties.
So then I guess my second part to that question is, why the $50 to roll it to the special, or to the tax assessment per person?
Thank you for that question again. There is administrative cost for applying it to the winter tax rolls, to the winter tax bills for those responsible parties. That is to cover those costs of administration and discourage late payments.
Okay. So basically, the $20 is the late fee, the $50 is the basically cost of putting it on the assessment tax.
Correct.
Or it wouldn't be assessment tax, it'd be a tax bill, right? Okay.
In your second, does that
Yeah,
cover
so
all
the
your
second
questions?
one was on the city manager's report, C1. So on there where it said that we're gonna exempt city vehicles, I noticed that it said that it also included weight restrictions. So my question is that city roads are set up, especially when you're dealing with frost and those type of things, with weight limits. So does it really make sense to exempt the city vehicles from running down those roads during that time of year?
City Manager.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. The traffic control order which was drafted actually arose out of a situation in which a DPW employee received a citation for driving a city-owned vehicle on a city street unexpectedly. It was determined that there are a number of traffic control orders which do exempt city-owned vehicles already. A majority of the traffic control orders do that, but this was a clarification to have it in one consolidated point of origin. So there are a number of vehicles which may exceed the weight limits, such as the Vector truck, which is used to help maintain sewers. And that would be the type of situation where I think the DPW or street department would judiciously not run a vehicle down a street on an ongoing basis, but would use it on a case-by-case basis to service citizens.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Twardy.
I so move that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosphus?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 4, special orders of business. A, public hearing to consider a request from Timothy and Catherine Rogers to vacate with retention of utility easements the full width of the unimproved alleys within Block 3 and Block 4, Cargill Addition, as well as the full width of platted Victoria Street bounded by West 4th Avenue and West 5th Avenue on the north and south, and Blocks 3 and 4 of Cargill Addition on the west and east.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. On this matter, I've requested that Community Development Director Freeman present to the Commission and community.
Evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Unlike most of my presentations, we'll try to do this one with one slide tonight. The application was received by the owners of 303 West 4th Avenue, which you can see shaded in blue on the aerial. And the original request was to vacate just the north and south street that's on the west side of their home and the north and south alley that's on the east side of their home. The east-west portion that you can see closest to Ryan Avenue, which is over here, was added by the engineering department simply as a matter of cleanliness, and it's easier to do this once than to go through in piecemeal, and it's easier to clean out one block. So that's what we did. You can see West 4th Avenue here at the top, Davitt Street, and West 5th Avenue. So that's kind of the area that we're working within. When the notices were sent out to the utilities, between AT&T, Cloverland, and DTE, everyone had something somewhere. So there'll be full retention utility easements after the vacation. There were some concerns expressed by particularly the neighbors on Davitt. It's my understanding from the discussion at the Planning Commission meeting that they'd been informally using this unimproved alley back here to access the rear portions of the property. However, city policy provides that unless an alley is improved for traffic, it is considered closed. So other than utility providers, there should be no vehicles back there. So after having that discussion, the Planning Commission recommended approval unanimously at their August 24th meeting. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions of Kelly? Commissioner Collins.
Does the property then, once it's vacated, then go back on the tax rolls?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
City Manager, do you have anything additional you'd like to?
Nothing further additional. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Okay, at this time, we have the public hearing on the, to vacate with retention of utility easements, the full width of the unimproved alleys within Block 3 and Block 4 Cargill's addition, as well as the full width of platted Victoria Street, bounded by West 4th Avenue and West 5th Avenue on the north and south, and Blocks 3 and 4 Cargill's addition on the west and east. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. City Commission. Commissioner Bauer.
So moved that we approve the requested vacation as proposed.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 5, Communications A from Commissioner Tuarty, discussion on special assessment interest rates.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Tuarty.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I have my very own agenda item, so that's kind of exciting. So it was brought to my attention this summer with some of the street improvement projects that personally I kind of felt like some of the finance rates were kind of high. And I understand the reason that we impose a finance rate is because we're asking the community members to pay the city off as quickly as possible. But after speaking to the mayor, we decided that the best way to proceed would be to approach Oliver or the city manager, and then have the city manager approach the city attorney to see if there's anything that we could do after a discussion. And so the specific project that I wanted to talk about tonight was West 4th Avenue, which was a non-bonded project, which money came out of the general fund. And so the community members will be paying back 6% interest rate on that project. And so in order for us to move forward with changing any sort of finance rates on anything, we need to discuss it as a commission. And so that's why I'm bringing it to the group tonight, because I wanted to see how the rest of the group felt about 6% on a non-bonded project of where the money comes out of the general fund, and see if anybody else had any sort of input or suggestions on moving forward with maybe lowering the interest rates on specific projects.
Let me just add also that the interest rates, as I understand it, if you went to a bank and borrowed money, it would be at about 3.5%, and we are charging 6%. So in the interest that, as we found out, is to try and encourage homeowners to get financing, possibly from the bank, credit union possibly, because we can't use the money, any of it, until it all comes back. So if we're financing a project over a 10-year period, as that money accumulates coming back, it's not spent until it's all back that we've used. CSO, combined sewer overflow projects, are different than just a straight street project. As case with 4th Avenue, I also feel, as Commissioner Tuarty, that maybe a look at the interest rates, because of city time and effort in putting bills out over a certain time, maybe a 1% increase over the going rate at a bank might be something that we would like to look at, but 6% seemed a little high to us, and we'd like to talk about that as a commission and see how the rest of the commission felt. And according to our city attorney, we understand that we can change interest rates once we've decided at a commission meeting that it's something we can revisit. Is that true?
Special assessments can be revised in two fashions. So if you decide to revise this special assessment, you'll have to follow one of the two fashions.
What are those two fashions?
There's two adjustments allowed under the charter. One is for errors made in the special assessment process. That includes, as a subcategory, assessments that end up too large for the project requirements. There's a procedure for returning funds, and then there's the amendment process, which is a repeat of the special assessment process.
Thank you. Should I understand that, Commissioner Tuardi?
Yeah, just wanted to add one more thing. So I understand why we're charging a certain amount of interest, and I would be in full agreement of going 1% over what the banks are offering, just because we have to use some city time to send out the bills and everything. But I think that we live in kind of a low-income area, and I think there are a lot of property owners out there who don't have the means to be able to go to a bank and take out a loan for a street project, and so and pay it back to the bank in lieu of all their other bills that they're paying. And so I know for me, we just decided to finance our street project through the city just to make it a little bit easier. And so I'm just I'm asking the rest of the commission to consider maybe what the mayor is suggesting.
Commissioner Collins?
When was the last time that the assessment rates interest rates were changed?
On street projects? Or city manager? Normally, CSO phases that we went through about 6%, between 5 and 6% for that money.
Commissioner Collins, thank you for that question. It's my understanding that the interest rate on special assessments of 6% has been established for a number of years, several years. We could certainly look back at records of past projects and produce that information.
Well, the reason I bring it up is that historically, right now, we've been in the last 10 years of low interest rates, right? But if you go back to, 2004, 2006, 5% or 6% interest rates was probably good, even if you're talking about 1% off the prime, because interest rates were typically double what they are today, right? So I guess my thought process is that I'd be for doing something that's set to prime because of the fact that that is really tied to what the interest rates are at that period of time. What I mean by that is, obviously, people that were getting 5 or 6% 15 years ago were getting a deal. Right? It was actually cheaper for them to use the assessment tax interest rate than it was to actually go to the bank and borrow it. Today, with the 3.5% prime, right? Obviously, if your choice is to pay 5 or 6% or 3.5%, and you have the means to go to the bank, then you're going to borrow the money from the bank and pay off your assessment tax. So, to me, it actually makes sense to, if we're going to change it or to look at changing it, to tie it to prime some way, in some fashion. That's my thoughts.
Thank you for those comments. Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn?
I just soon hear it from city manager, what his recommendation is going to be. Let him study it, get back to us.
Okay. Anyone else? City manager, like to make a couple comments?
Yes, I certainly, on behalf of city administration, this is a topic that we would be very happy to research and return with the city commission with different policy options. It is my understanding that it could change and based on market conditions, but also that the city commission has the full authority to set the interest rate at a level that it determines appropriate.
Okay. Commissioner Lynn, does that satisfy your interest?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyone else? So what I heard the manager say was that if we send it back to the administration to bring back a recommendation, then they would do so.
So do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Can I make a motion?
Commissioner Tuardi will make the motion, seconded by Commissioner Collins.
Yep. Yes.
Any further questions? All those in, can I voice vote?
Yes, it's a motion to refer.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, and item number 6, we are into the city manager's report. Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under the city manager's report would be approval to adjust city health care thresholds. The City Commission, in accordance with various collective bargaining agreements and established practice, has previously defined thresholds for the amount of money the city will expend on a monthly basis to offer each eligible employee and their eligible family members health care. As commissioners are additionally aware, a special health determining committee consisting of the city manager, city attorney, and a representative from each of the city's bargaining units, as well as representatives from non-union staff, over the course of the past 9 to 10 years has worked to research and select health care plans that are offered to city employees, to evaluate the cost of such health care plans, and evaluate the city commission established thresholds in relation to the cost of selected plans. Included commissioners will find information detailing the health care plans tentatively selected by the Special Health Determining Committee for the city's employees for the 2018 calendar and plan year. Employees selecting either the mid-range plan or high plan must pay the difference between the monthly premium for their selected plan and the established threshold for their level of coverage. As detailed within the included information, effective January 1st, 2018, the monthly premium of the core plan for single coverage is projected to be $437.59. The monthly premium for two-person coverage, $1,041.74, and the monthly premium for family coverage, $1,322.12. The projected monthly premiums for both the tentatively selected two-person coverage and family coverage levels of the plans exceed the current threshold by a minor amount without an adjustment. It is also important to note that the core plan benefits would be enhanced this year if the thresholds are adjusted, so that the plan deductible would be reduced from $5,000 to $2,500, with employees paying 20% of certain costs after the $2,500 deductible, up to a co-insurance maximum of $5,000. City administration supports this enhancement as it can be achieved at a cost which falls within the established budget for the current fiscal year, and it's important for attracting and retaining employees. As another note, the annual costs connected to these thresholds and plans are $5,916 for single coverage, $12,504 for two-person coverage, and $15,876 for family coverage. These annual amounts are very competitive with and less than the hard caps that are provided for in Public Act 152 of 2011, being the Publicly Funded Health Insurance Contribution Act. Accordingly, action within the coming weeks would be requested by the Commission for the city to opt out of the provisions of this Public Act, as the plans selected tentatively by the Special Health Care Determining Committee would fall within the City Commission established thresholds and are less than the State of Michigan expenditure thresholds. And to note that the modest increase in the thresholds which would be associated with these plans is at that low rate because of the cost containment activities that employees have engaged in. Accordingly, it's my recommendation that the City Commission approve an increase in the monthly threshold for two-person coverage from $1,031 to $1,042, and that it approve an increase in the monthly threshold for family coverage from $1,307 to $1,323, while keeping the existing monthly threshold of $493 for single coverage in place effective January 1st, 2018. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gary.
I would make a motion to approve the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy,
Yes.
Mayor Bospas,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B, under City Manager's report, would provide for the award of a bid for Police Department lighting improvements. On this matter, I've requested that Chief Riley present to the Commission and community.
Okay.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Evening, Chief.
I'll start with asking Commissioner Lynn if I'll get support from him that quickly.
Let me think about
You
it.
hesitated. For the current fiscal year, the City Commission approved $12,200 to upgrade the lighting in the city's police department to LED fixtures, which would generate more light and what we're being told, the cost savings and the cost of electricity. We put the project out to bids. We received 2 bids. Bid opening was held in the clerk's office 4 p.m. September 20th. 2 bids came from Roy Electric and JK or J. Rank Electric Incorporated. Roy Electric, of course, being from Sault Ste. Marie, the J. Rank Electric coming from Mount Pleasant. City manager asked me a question late this afternoon, if Cloverland was okay with us doing this to their building. Of course, we rent. Back on August 22nd, I had the same thought, and I contacted Roger Lyon from Cloverland, and I asked him if we would have the blessing of Cloverland to go ahead with this. He spoke with people in the office, and he responded and said they have absolutely no issues, continue with the proposed project. In fact, they did the same thing at their office building recently. So we have Cloverland's blessing on it. Over the past couple of weeks, and I'll be getting to the bids, over the past couple of weeks I've been talking with an individual named Sam Simonetta. He works for an outfit. He's a field outreach manager for the Michigan Energy Optimization Program. What he does is he works with Cloverland and he goes to visit sites and he tells people this is how much money you potentially can get in an incentive in making the changeover. This morning he emailed me back, and depending on the number of fixtures and everything, he estimates the incentive for us to do this is $1,750 to $2,000. It's like a rebate type of thing through this program. On to the bids. We received 2 bids. Lowest bid was Roy Electric, $12,849. It's roughly $700 or $650 over what was budgeted by the City Commission for this project. I'm in front of you this evening to, one, request that the amount budgeted be increased to an additional $700 to cover the lowest bid, and that the funds come from the general contingency fund, and also that the City Commission approve the awarding of the bid to Roy Electric of Sault Ste. Marie for the amount of $12,849.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Lynn has a question.
I so move that we approve the police chief's recommendation.
Support. There you go.
You were really slow.
I would want to go back to the city manager to see if you have anything in addition that you'd like to say.
We'd just like to compliment Police Chief Riley for his drafting of the specifications for this project. I know it took a bit of research and diligence, and also that the information presented does note that the payback period is about 1 2/3 year, so 1 year and 8 months, and after that point in time the project costs are projected to be paid back, and after that the savings would continue to accrue.
Great. There are, just to remind the Commission, there are 2 recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. There was 1 motion. Commissioner Tuarty had a question, and I think Commissioner Bauer had a question.
The geek in me did have a question, but the city manager, the geek in him, just answered it. Because the bottom line is, whenever you're a business owner, I always want to know how long it's going to take for any project to pay me back. And I thank you for following up with that, because that was my curiosity. So thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that even though it is about $700 over the projected cost, the savings is, way greater than that, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Thank you. So that includes both recommendations, your motion?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarty?
Yes.
Mayor Boswith?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item C, under City Manager's report, would provide authorization to apply for a Tiger Grant for the Carbide Dock repair and East Easterday Avenue reconstruction project. On this matter, City Engineer Basista will present to the Commission and community.
Evening, Linda.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you know, the Carbide Dock and adjoining Alfred Park dock is in need of repair in order to be reopened to the public and or commercial use. Additionally, Easterday, which is our truck route from Carbide Dock basically to I-75 Business Spur and I-75 beyond, is also in need of repair and is proposed on our capital improvement plan for reconstruction in a couple of years in our plan. So a Tiger grant, the Federal Department of Transportation has announced announcements soliciting applications for the Tiger discretionary grants. And Tiger grants are well known to be highly competitive and very, very difficult to get. Hundreds of applications. This is a federal grant. It's reviewed by the federal agencies. It's not a pass through the state. It's directly from the Department of Transportation, Federal Department of Transportation. And so consistently since the inaction of legislation enacting the Tiger grants, they get hundreds of applications per year. Reason being they're difficult to get is one, they have a very high award amount. The minimum grant requested amount is $5 million and the maximum is $25 million. And the project has to have it's really for national infrastructure improvements. So it has to have a high national or at least regional impact. A cost-benefit analysis has to be done as part of the application. So it's not just a typical road reconstruction project that they're looking for. It has to have a national or regional significance. So we all know that the carbide dock, well known is what its use has been, and we did the study, waterfront redevelopment study last year, completed that. And since have been talking to our representatives and legislators and City Commission, also last goal setting session, still as not the first year, is requesting administration seek grants for repair of the carbide dock. So Tiger grants are due, applications are due for the fiscal year 2017 on October 16th. So it's just a short time away. We've already began the process, but as is our plan for all, practice for all grants, especially those needing a commitment by the city, look for City Commission's approval to apply for the grant. In this particular case, our grant application, we would be looking for $13.42 million, of which currently we have unidentified matching funds of $1.33 million that we would need to match. The Tiger grants are 80% of the project is funded by the Tiger grant, 20% is required by the local agency as match. For the $13.42 million grant application, our total match would be approximately $3 million, but we already have just under $3 million. We already have some of that, as you know, designated by state special legislative targeted grant of $1 million, and then our current conservative available budget to use for the carbide dock fund is $650,000. So that being the case, we still would, administration would still continue to turn over every stone in getting, pursuing, if we are awarded this grant, pursuing the remaining matching funds. But in order to be competitive for a Tiger grant, I attended a webinar through the Department of Transportation on submitting Tiger grants, how they're evaluated, how they're considered, and of course one of the high aspects that they look at is the viability of the project. Has this been a vetted project? How much effort has already gone into it from the standpoint of knowing it's even a feasible project? Well, we've already done that. Our waterfront redevelopment study is there. It's the structural analysis has been done. We know what needs to be done to the property. So I think in that regard, we have a really strong application. The second thing, though, is the possibility of funding the project and providing the match. So just under $3 million is not something for a community, especially of our size, to sneeze at. Now, they do take into account the ability for a community, so especially of our size, to provide that match. So may give us more credibility towards our application, knowing our size. But I believe that strongly that if we have the support of the city commission, not guaranteeing, but supporting the match, that our application would be stronger, that we would back the match.
Anything else? Before you do that, let's go to the city manager, maybe for the recommendations and anything else you have to add.
Thank you for that presentation, City Engineer Basista. As was mentioned, the proposal that's in front of the City Commission aligns with the currently established goal of the City Commission to pursue funding from state and federal sources for the reconstruction of the dock. It does complement a number of initiatives and efforts that are currently underway, certainly segues with the waterfront redevelopment study and the strong public feedback which was received regarding the enhancement to waterfront access. That's something that would not be complicated by this proposal, and it would also complement the feedback which was received to generate potentially mixed-use development closer toward the Portage Avenue corridor, and would also align with current conversations that are proposed with Lake Superior State University on the Center for Freshwater Research and Education. As the engineer indicated, the review of the viability, currently the city has had preliminary conversations with entities such as the Lake Carriers Association to determine if any of its members would be supportive of this type of project and would consider participating in the project. We know there are a number of stakeholders such as those entities as well as the federal government which would benefit from this project, particularly given its possible connection to a Soo Locks project. We've had extended conversations about the funding component, and it would be possible to perhaps through a mix of actions approach stakeholders about participating in the project, pursuing other special grant opportunities, to match those which would be received if this was approved by the commission and awarded to the city, and also reviewing possibilities for a revenue bond. Just a quick note that if this were to be awarded to the city, it would be expected the city would need to execute a contract by September of 2020, and that the project would need to be completed by September of 2025, approximately 8 years from this month. Thank you.
Thank you. And there are two recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. That is one motion. Could you give the recommendations?
Right. Thank you, Mayor. It is my recommendation that the Commission approve the submission of a Tiger Grant application in the amount of $13.42 million to include a commitment for the remaining unidentified matching funds of $1.33 million, and additionally to seek additional funding for the required match from all other eligible and available sources, including funding from potential private partners such as the shipping industry and our governmental partners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Twardy.
I so move that we approve the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosbus?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And prior to the conclusion of the city manager's report, did want to provide one update to the community. On the city website as well as the city Facebook page, there is information that is posted about extended city composting hours. There is through the middle of October, on Wednesday the 4th and 18th, hours that are projected to be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on the 11th from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well as on Saturday, the 14th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, if there is a desire to have the information printed out or at your fingertips, please call my office or call the Department of Public Works, or please check on the city website and Facebook page. After the 16th of October, we'll be evaluating those hours for possible continuation, and we are discussing the last week of the season having the compost be open every day. We do expect that middle of October that leaf pickup will begin as well.
Okay, great. We remember last year, it went on through November almost. We had a very mild fall, and the compost stayed open, and the crews were able to pick up a tremendous amount of leaves. So going forward, only time will tell. So thank you for the update.
You're welcome. And that concludes the city manager's report. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7, status report. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under status reports is a construction project update. Again, would welcome City Engineer Basista to...
So moved, we accept the report and place it on file. One
We
more
might-
time.
yeah.
That was the last time.
We'll give you that opportunity. Evening again.
Evening again. And you asked for an update on the West 4th Avenue project. I'll give you an update on both West 4th and East Spruce.
Sure.
If you've been out there recently, West 4th has started the paving process. The base course was not completed today as planned because the asphalt plant had a problem at the plant and had to shut down. So I'm not sure when that'll be completed, but it'll probably be this week once they make that repair. And followed by restoration and then final paving. So that's should be completed by next week, end of next week.
Just a question on that project, and it looks really good. I do appreciate the South Street. A number of folks have gotten a hold of me and talked about how well the graveling has gone on, and the grader spending each morning, I think it is, making sure that it stays relatively chatter bump free, as they say. And I do appreciate the efforts of the city crews.
Yeah. Yeah, they've kept on top of that. That's not the posted detour, but last year when we were planning this project, we recognized that it would get used more heavily than it ever does. So they actually started last year in preparing to maintain South Street during the course of this project. So yes, they've done an excellent job of that.
Thank you.
East Spruce is, right now, they're just working on connecting the water main services, the services to the homes. The water main has been completed, and once that is done, you'll quickly see the restoration take shape, the curb and gutter, the roadway, and I anticipate that pending very good weather, that also should be wrapped up by October 16th to the 18th. However, if we do happen to get extremely wet weather while they're still working with the utilities, we may do what we've done on CSO projects, and that is just pave the base course and wait until next year and come back and pave the final course in case there's any problems that show up in the base as a result of still working on the road this time of year. So we can't count on the weather, but we've been very fortunate. And this J&N Construction is the contractor. This is the first time they've worked in the city. They are from Gaylord, and they've done an excellent job of the work out there.
The other question I had is, because I travel that quite a bit, there's a white pipe that runs along the property lines. It looks like maybe it was a water line above the ground.
That's temporary water service.
Is that what
Yeah,
that is?
the
Okay.
water main that was being replaced was basically being replaced in its exact location, the same location as it currently exists. So they had to provide temporary water to the homes. That's usually connected in through a outdoor spigot or through the basement into the meter And that pipe is prepared and maintained just like it is for regular drinking water, and through the course until they get connected back up to the new water main.
And that will be done this fall?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Twardy.
Yeah, just had a comment and a question. Well, both street projects, really looking forward to both of them. East Spruce is my morning walking route, and so I'm really looking forward to that street being done. I think it's going to be a huge improvement there. One question, though, is maybe I'm imagining, but it seems to be like Melport is being a really, really good community member and allowing portions of their property to be used as staging area for that street project. And am I just imagining that, or?
It looks like his property, but actually
Okay.
there's quite a bit of right-of-way there.
Oh, there is. Okay. So I thought it was his property, and I thought, well, if it was his, then I thought maybe we should
They
say
might
thank
be
you.
encroaching onto his property, I
Maybe a
don't
few
know,
feet.
but there is quite a bit of right-of-way
Okay.
there.
All right. So move along then. Thank you.
Any other questions of Linda? City manager, anything else?
Nothing further to add, just to appreciate the various departments involved in these construction projects and the patience of our community as they're undertaken.
Thank you, Linda.
And that concludes the status report section of the agenda. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8 are matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a comment at this time? We thank you all for being here. Oh. Here comes Al, our auxiliary policeman.
I just want to take this opportunity, seeing I'm not going to make the next 2 meetings where Bill will be present. I wanted to thank him for his many years of support and working with the auxiliary department. It's been great. I know when I had 25 years in, he was mayor, and he presented me with a plaque. And at that time, he said, "We'll see you in another 25 years." So all year, I've been reminding him that he has to run again because he's got 5 more years to go. So, but he keeps saying no. So that's fine. I don't know if I'll make another 5 years, but if my health stays good and I'm still around, I will do that. But I appreciate your support and in cooperation in all the years of working with the auxiliary and keeping us an active unit. And,
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Congratulations and good luck in your retirement.
Thank you. I always wanted his hair. Look at the hair he's got. Now look at the hair I've got.
Thank you, Al. Certainly,
Al used to work for my dad many, many years ago.
we do thank, as a commission and a city, we do thank Al for his many years of working with the auxiliary. It is a much better auxiliary because Al is involved, and we thank you over the years. You've been steadfast.
You're welcome. The chief keeps me around because I'm a good example for the younger people of what not to do as an
Thanks, Al. Okay, item number 9, matters presented by the City Commission. City Commission. I do have one item. I was contacted by a gentleman on Riverside Drive, right at the stop sign, or maybe right at the intersection with 3 Mile Road, and he's just a couple houses back, and him and his neighbor were talking about the amount of traffic, you know, especially in the morning coming into work. If there could be possibly, if the administration would look at reviewing the feasibility of a stop sign, or stop sign, not a light, but just a stop sign. And we know that the county instituted the stop signs on Shunk, on Seymour, and those seem to have worked pretty well.
Very well.
It slowed traffic down, less, remember those are high accident areas, especially around the people coming to and from school to school area there. So if the commission wishes, if we could have the administration at least look into the possibility of possibly a stop sign on 3 Mile and Riverside. He says they have a hard time pulling out of their drives, especially in the morning, because the amount of and the speeds in which they're moving with also. Just Commissioner Twardy, and then.
Yeah. Well, I thought you might want to mention about the Rio Ocho delegation.
Sure, we can do that too. But Commissioner Lynn, you have something along those
Nothing
lines?
about the stop sign.
Of course, I lived on Riverside at one time with my parents, and that has always been a speedway. I think that would be an excellent way of slowing it down. No matter which direction you're going, you're going to have to stop.
Do we need a motion to let the administration look into the feasibility? Sure, if you'd like to.
I'll make a motion to recommend what the mayor recommended.
Support.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign? Opposed, same sign? Motion carried. Thank you. Also, that we are being visited till Friday with the group of middle school students from Ryocho, Japan, our sister city, the 43rd year. And we did do a welcome here, and they have two, I think, maybe three people that are sort of chaperoning them. One gentleman has been here before, just don't remember their names. But we certainly are happy that they have made the trip. We welcome certainly next year our 350th anniversary as a French settlement. We certainly welcome them back, and I understand there is going to be a delegation from Ryocho here. So I think we're all present this morning giving a welcome, and we look forward to their activities because they're going to be pretty busy. And certainly Melissa McLean and David Giles and his wife Stephanie spending an awful lot of time over the years continuing their cooperation with the exchange program that we have with Ryocho. So we're very thankful for their volunteerism, and we know the children, I call them children, but the middle school students will certainly enjoy their time here in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Okay. Anything else? Commissioner Lynn?
My turn.
Okay.
My time is getting rather short, as you well know. And I do need to thank some people over my last 3 meetings. And tonight I'd just like to thank Neil Godby, former city manager, who taught me how important it was to serve your fellow citizens on the city commission. Walt Babcock, who just passed away, what a character to work with, but I learned a lot from Walt. Bob Husky, former city commissioner, taught me how important it was if you lose a vote, then you're for it. Whoever wins it, then you change your no vote to a yes vote. And I think the mayor and I did that with WODA at the last meeting. That's what you're supposed to do. And so did Kathy. You use the Bob Husky rule of law, I guess. Jim Elford, former mayor, I think he won every award there is to give in Sault Ste. Marie, but I would have never been mayor without Jim Elford. And least of all, Verna Lawrence taught me a lot about politics. I can tell you that. Boy, did I get a lesson in politics. With that, Your Honor, move to adjourn.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. We thank you very much.